Today we are going to try and pull the cab off this thing, and we originally planned to do that before we started pulling stuff off of the frame, but we just got excited and we're like, let's wait for that. So we're gonna see how much we can get done today. I actually have to leave like around 2 or 2:30 to drive to Arkansas to shoot for Dillard's tomorrow. So Aaron's gonna be working by himself this evening and tomorrow. And so we're gonna see how far we can get together, but Aaron's just gonna keep on working because we got to get this truck done.
That's right. We've got less than 30 days now until power tour. So we're trying to get it done. I think what I'm going to be able to do when she's gone, if we can get that cab off, I will go in and sand all the frames, paint all the frames, get all that prepped, maybe start putting new brake hoses in and lines and stuff like that. We'll see. Just see what we get done.
Why'd you give me the tire that's about to explode?
I didn't. I thought you were going to get in there and steer and let me walk it.
Oh! Aaron's starting with the radiator hoses, and I'm going to pull the terminals off the battery, heater hoses, fan shroud. The radiator will come up with the cab, and then some wiring here and there, right, babe?
Yeah. I'm going to drain the water before I pull the hoses. So I just pulled this hose off because it goes inside the cab to the old-timey brake trailer controller. And now I'm just going to pull this whole master cylinder off and let it stay with the frame. We're going to replace the hoses anyways, but I want it to all be together so I remember where everything goes for now.
I think these radiator hoses have been off for a while. I started with the lower radiator hose and it was on there so tight and in such a tight area that I just decided to move to the upper portion of the lower radiator hose, but it's really on there tight too. There we go. Good dang. Got a few wires that we forgot to remove. A couple to the starter and one to a temp sensor. Look at Garfield.
I don't want to.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, why?
This is awesome, Aaron.
Yep. I think the sanding is finally done. It is certainly not perfect. It's not even close to being perfect. The whole goal was just sand it down some, get most of the rust off, and then use a paint that'll bond to this surface. I'm about to wipe it down with some paint thinner, then I'll get my paint on there, and that'll give us a really good starting point to start building the suspension off of. We're gonna have to grind some of that paint back off so that we can weld, but that's okay because I'm really just wanting to get this thing coated right now, and it's time. That's been a lot of work. Before I quit last night, I got the frame all sanded up, painted. Unfortunately, I used a high gloss paint, and I'm not very happy with that. So I'm going to go back over it with another coat that's going to be a semi-gloss. We'll have to do that another day though, because today I want to get the bottom of the cab sanded and painted. There's not a lot of rust that's like rusted through the body or anything. It's just surface rust. So I'm going to clean that stuff up, get some paint on it, just so we don't have to take that cab back off again. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's all solid. It's just there's just no paint on it. I don't know how else to say it, but it's not rotted out. We'll just sand that up a little bit, put some paint on it. When I say sand, I'm actually going to use a wire brush, I think, on this and get her looking all shiny again. So I have most of it done now. I've just got this tub left. Man, this is a job. My arms are like noodles. I don't think I did a great job on everything, but I knocked most of the loose stuff off, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I tested a little part with paint, and I'm not happy with that. So I'm gonna go to the store and buy that undercoating stuff that's like goes on thick and coat the bottom of it. It'll be good enough. Well, that's done, and I am filthy. I've got dirt. You wouldn't even believe, just layers of it on me. It's probably even in my teeth. I'm gonna go to the store and buy some of that undercoating stuff after I take a shower and get some new clothes on. Come back here, we'll get that thing coated, and then hopefully Emily will be getting home pretty soon after that, and we can start working on that front suspension. I'm excited. Well, the first coat's on it, and I'm gonna have to go back to the store. I bought 3 cans that got me through the first coat. I can still see there's some areas that are thin, so I'm gonna go get some more paint, see if I can get this finished, and then we'll work on that front suspension. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the front suspension apart so that I can get the A-arms out and clean all that stuff, sand it, paint it. That way when Emily shows up, we will be able to put the new bags in and get all that stuff tied up. We've decided that we don't want to change the brakes right now, so we're going to keep it with 4-wheel drum. The truck steered pretty good whenever we drove it back from Iowa. The gearbox was worn out, so we're going to replace that, but everything else is in good shape. We're also going to keep these drum brakes because we just don't have time to be changing everything right now and testing and tuning everything. I'm going to take these A-arms off. First, I will put a jack underneath here, knock this ball joint loose, then I can slowly lower it down and get that spring out of there. And I'll take the A-arms off, clean all this stuff up, get it painted and ready to put back together. When Emily shows up, we'll be able to put the cups on the bottom, plates on the top, and throw that airbag in there. And we'll see how low it goes with the air ride. That works. It just fell out. Cool. Airbag's going there.
I'm backing my castle nut off, but not all the way off because I want to be able to smack the top of this spindle to knock the upper ball joint out. And then I'll jack it up a little bit and take my castle nut off and lower it down gently. Sounded like the Titanic sinking. Yay. Okie dokie, this looks all spiffy. I've got my bump stop removed and the surface smoothed where it was installed. I've got everything all smooth-ish and rust-free. And now it is time to slap some paint on this thing so that we can let it dry and install our air ride suspension up here. Aaron already has his all installed and it looks freaking awesome. So I can't wait to get this side installed and we can move to the back. This is so exciting. The front of this suspension is actually pretty simple. Aaron already did his side. I was gone shooting for JCPenney yesterday and I get home and Aaron's like, I'm ready to throw mine in. So he threw his in and he was like, pretty much the hardest part is drilling these 4 holes. It's very simple the way these bags go in. This plate bolts on to the bottom here. It's very obvious as to how it goes on. Like they built this bracket in such a way that this is the only way that it fits and aligns, so it's perfect. Then you know, use your clamps, hold it on there, and drill your holes. And then your airbag, which isn't over here, just goes between your upper and lower control arm, and it just sits in the bottom where your coil spring sat. So it's freaking awesome. I'm so excited. And then the shock bolts up to the stock mounting location, so freaking awesome. Our holes are drilled in that upper control arm. So now I am toast. Tomorrow I'm going to bolt the bag onto the bottom side of that bracket and get all this put back together. So, see you tomorrow. Good morning! I'm fresh. Ready to go. And figuring out the way that these bolt up, we realized that this is our air line that comes out. That needs to be toward the inside of the truck. So flipping this over and keeping that air line this way, this is the direction that the lower bracket is bolted to the bag. I made a little mark right inside here with a red paint pen just to remind myself so that I didn't end up getting it this direction instead, because this bracket's really interesting. It's offset so that it pushes the bag toward the outside of the truck instead of in closer for clearance issues. And so, gotta get this bolted up, and then we'll move on to the upper. Okay, we're gonna test and be sure that our fitting is sealing properly. Aaron kludged these awesome fittings together so that we can put some pressure in these airbags and test them. So, let's get on it. Looks good over here.
Yeah, I don't see it bubbling.
Okay, now that our fitting is on, let's pop this upper mounting bracket on and get it bolted down. All right, it's time to get our air hose routed. We're gonna go up around the bar from the lower control arm, up through the top portion and down. Then go right into our airbag.
Cool.
Good and solid. Ooh. On this rear bolt that is toward the front of the truck. That's where our bump stop goes. So our bolt goes down from the top of the cross member and into our bump stop. So the bottom bracket is just supposed to sit in where that coil spring sits, so it doesn't bolt up or anything. It just finds its home. Alrighty, time to get this new shock on. We're gonna get our shock on. Dang! It looks so nice. That's where this episode ends. If you guys have comments, questions, constructive criticism, put it down in the comments below. We read everything you guys write. Most of the time we respond, and we really, really appreciate you watching. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.